Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good day, everyone. Today, I am going to explain about informative speech. Here are the contents of this lecture video. We are going to look at what is an informative speech, types of informative speech, how to brainstorm the topic of your informative speech, how to write an introduction, how to write a body content, and also how to write the conclusion. Basically, informative speech is a speech that tells the audience about something. It is neutral by nature. After listening to the speech, your audience will receive new information. So some samples that I can share with you here is my favorite singer, how to prepare for a catastrophic emergency, what is play truant and how to solve it, augmented reality, AI. Okay, there are many types of informative speech. Your speech can be descriptive. It comes from the word description, and that is to describe something. It can also be demonstrative. You are demonstrating something. Maybe you teach people how to change a flat tire. It can be explanatory, where you are explaining something, or it can also be a definition, where you are defining a term, a framework, etc. Now, let us start with a descriptive informative speech. A descriptive informative speech is basically you describe a person or a place or thing or matters or anything, just anything. And a speaker will provide information only about the thing that he or she is describing. Now, for example, if let's say the topic is my favorite singer. Now, if you narrow it down, maybe you are going to focus only on one singer. Perhaps your choice is Datuk Sri Siti Nurhaliza. So you are going to describe Datuk Sri Siti Nurhaliza in your speech. Others like the one thing that I bring to sleep every night or place that I love to go during summer. The purpose of descriptive informative speech is you are just describing the object or the person or the thing or the event, and that's just it. Next is a demonstrative speech, whereby you demonstrate on doing things. Like, for example, how to prepare oneself for a catastrophic emergency, or maybe how to change a flat tire, or how to bake cookies. As you can see, this kind of topics, it involves process and procedures. Moving on, explanatory. I think most of us, most of you will be doing on explanatory informative speech, where you are going to explain about something. And this normally and usually requires an extended of research activity in which you are required to find more information to do more research about the topic. Some of the examples that I can share with you is like play truant and how to solve it, or the effects of burning the midnight oil, or 21st century learning, what and how. Another type of informative speech is definition. Definition, basically you define a new idea perhaps, or terminology, or even a concept. I give an example here. Augmented reality. Perhaps this terminology is very new to us. So you would like to give more information on what augmented reality or AI is all about. Now that you are done, now that we are done with the types of um, informative speech, we can move on to how to brainstorm your topic. Now, basically, we will start with the general purpose. Now, general purpose of informative speech is basically one, and that is to inform. And once you have identified your general purpose, you may want to ask yourself, what could be the specific purpose? Now, what is basically a specific purpose? A specific purpose is where you ask yourself, what do you want your audience to know by the end of your speech? Once you are done with that, you can move on brainstorming your central idea. The central idea is basically one sentence that tells me or that tells the audience what the speech is all about. Normally, it consists the three main points that you wish to deliver in your speech. Now, bear in mind, when you are delivering a speech, the structure of your speech is basically more or less the same with the structure of a 5-paragraph essay, whereby you have one paragraph to be the introduction, 3 paragraphs to be the content, and 1 paragraph to be the conclusion. Now, in a 5-paragraph essay, you're required to write at least 3 body contents. And that is why in your thesis statement of your essay, it consists of 3 things that you wish to write in your essay. So central idea basically shares the same idea on what thesis statement is. It tells the audience the 3 contents or the 3 information that you would like to share with your audience. And from there, you can reword the whole thing to come up with a topic. Now, a topic not necessarily has to have your general purpose, specific purpose, and central idea. It can be of one word, a phrase, or even a complete sentence. It can also be a catchy one. Now, I give you some examples here, yeah? Let's just say my general purpose is to inform. My specific purpose is to inform my audience about how to improve one's proficiency in English. And my central idea, basically, I will state 3 things that I would like to deliver in my speech. And these 3 things are basically ways to improve one's proficiency in English. So the sentence says, one can improve his or her proficiency in English by listening to English songs, 1, watch English movies, 2, and read English newspapers, 3. Now from here, if you ask yourself, are these the only 3 things that we can actually use to improve one's English? Not necessarily. We can have more than 3. There are many ways that you can improve your English. But why did I choose these 3 things? Well, when you are delivering your speech, time is basically your enemy. You are given a duration of time to deliver your speech. I can talk hours and hours about how to improve one's English by letting you know many ways that are available out there. But then again, if let's say you are given 5 minutes to deliver a speech, do you think having like 5 or 6 or even 10 ways in improving one's English appropriate? I don't think so. So that is why I always feel that 3 is the best. You may have many ways, but you may want to choose the best 3. And how to choose this best 3 content or body contents? Well, that depends on you. In my case, these are basically the ways that I use to help myself to improve my English. That is, I listen to English songs, I like to watch English movies, and also I like to read English newspapers. So because these 3 ways are very much dear to me, and I have experienced before, therefore I choose this. There are many reasons to why you choose the best 3. Another reason can also be because these are the 3 ways that are in which the information or materials to support the information are available a lot online. Sometimes you can come up with a lot of ways, but when you go and Google and find information about it, maybe there are only few research or there are only few studies done on it. So how to choose? Well, that depends on you. And this is how I come up with the the topic. 3 ways to improve one's proficiency in English. Simple as that. It can be very straightforward like this, or having these three, I can bet your English will be improved within 3 months. Something catchy, that is entirely up to you. And remember, a catchy topic can also arouse the audience interest. Everything is on you. Now let us talk about what are needed in your introduction. Now these are the criteria that will also be in the grading criteria in order for me to assess your speech. In your introduction, you should have an attention grabber. You must also establish your credibility. You must be able to greet your audience. You must mention or you must inform your topic and also your central idea. And you must also have a transition. Now, why do you need to have a transition? So that when I listen or watch your speech, I know that you are transiting from your introduction to your body content. Now let us look at a sample here. Have you ever imagined talking in English fluently like a native speaker? Now we may have that feeling whenever we watch an English or TV series. I myself at times feel that way too, but I know for sure feeling about it isn't enough. I have to do something to catch that dream. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I would like to talk about 3 ways in improving one's proficiency in English. And they are watching English movies, listening to English songs, and reading English newspapers. Now let us start with the first way, and that is watching English movies, which can help to improve your proficiency in English. Now, as you can see here, I have color coded the sentences based on the criteria that are needed in your introduction. We have attention getter or attention grabber, we have the credibility, we have the greetings, topic, central idea, and transition. This is very clear. Now, when we talk about attention grabbers, how else can we have your attention grabber? Like just now, I begin with a rhetorical question. You can also have your attention grabber in the form of a quotations or maybe facts, humors, proverbs, idioms, story, history, startle your audience. You can even have your visual aid to be part of your attention grabber. Everything depends on your creativity. But you must also know that not only we need to have an attention grabber, your attention grabber has to be very effective. Now, when it comes to writing the body content, these are the few things that are needed. Number one, topic sentence. Number two, elaboration. Number three, supporting materials. Number four, concluding sentence. And number five, transition. Now, topic sentence is basically one sentence that tells the audience what you are going to discuss in that particular paragraph. Elaboration is basically a form of explanation to elaborate more or to give more details. Supporting materials can also be your chart, can also be your graph, can also be your table or your article, the one that you research in order to support your topic sentence and your elaboration. Now, why do we need to support this topic sentence or the content with supporting materials like articles from research, articles from books, educational magazines, from websites? Why? Because we need to convince people that this speech is not merely your own thoughts. They are all supported with good studies. And of course, once you are done with that, we'll move to concluding sentence. Basically, just one sentence that concludes the whole paragraph. and of course another sentence just to transit from first body content to the second body content. Let us look at an example here. Now, not many of us realizes that watching English movies can actually help us to improve our proficiency in English. So here I am going to tell people this is basically what I'm going to discuss in the first body content, and that is how movies can actually help to improve English. English movies, on general, covers the speaking, listening, and reading components. And then I support with Judy Parkinson in her book entitled The Art of Improving English Skills mentions that watching English movies or TV series can at least help to boost your speaking and listening skills. Izzuddin Zakarian, in his research, reveals that watching motion pictures does have some impacts in acquiring a target language, and in this case, English. Now, as you can see here, I support my content, my first body content, with two supporting materials. The first one was taken from a book written by Judy Parkinson, and the second one was actually, it came from a research done by Izzuddin Zakarian. So basically, if even when you read this, you know that this sounds convincing. It's not something that actually appear out of my thoughts, out of my mind, and without being supported by research or thorough research. The one that is colored in purple is basically the conclusion or the concluding sentence, and of course the one in orange is basically the transition. Now you repeat the same steps for body content number 2 and body content number 3. Now let's move on to, sorry, before that, this is basically the findings from Izzuddin Zakarian research, where you can see here that Izzuddin did a research and the findings are presented in a form of a pie chart. So for my informative speech, this pie chart number 1 is my visual aid. And number 2, I have fulfilled the requirement for informative speech, and that is to support at least with one chart. It can also be a graph, it can also be a table, but it is mandatory for you to have this chart or a graph or a table to support your body content. And this is how you integrate, or this is how you make it relevant to the topic or to the body content of your speech. Other types of supporting materials your materials can come from research findings, books, articles, graph charts, statistics, expert opinions, observation. Now, this is how you write a concluding sentence. You can begin your concluding sentence. We are not yet coming to conclusion. A concluding sentence is just one sentence to end your body content. And you can just use this, yeah, hence, therefore, and thus. Do not begin with in conclusion, because this phrase is exclusively for your concluding paragraph. When you are ending your speech with a conclusion, normally we'll start with in conclusion. But if it is just a concluding sentence, so you can use hence, therefore, and thus. For your information, okay, I will skip this part first, yeah, because I think I have explained. Oh, sorry. Let me explain about the requirement of the body content, yeah. For your information, for your informative speech, you're required to develop only one body content. Okay, now why it is one body content instead of 3 body contents? Because you only have 5 minutes to present. But if you want to deliver all 3 body contents, it is acceptable. Why? Because provided that you have enough time within that 5 minutes. So although I have written here between 5 to 7, basically I have decided it will just be 5-minute presentation. And it is a requirement for you to have one paragraph, or one chart or one table to support your body content, any of your body content. Now, writing your conclusion is basically you restate the central idea, and then you express hope or solution, or you end with a simple one-liner. So this is an example of how writing a conclusion.